This is how to do the scalloped cast on. Now I originally have just the regular E-wrap cast on over here so that we'd be able to compare the two, so that you can see this is what normal E-wrap is, normal cast on we get on the edge, so that you can see the difference once we get the scalloped cast on done. Now what this is going to be is you're actually going to be using a crochet hook through it. So, and the other realization is, since I'm right-handed, I'm going to start on this side of the loom so that I can have my crochet hook in the hand that I'm more comfortable with. If you're left-handed, you should be able to start at the other side. And all you're going to do is create your slip knot. But instead of putting it on the peg, we're going to actually put it on our crochet hook. Give it a little tug, not too tight, because you're going to need to put a loop through there. Now we're going to start with our crochet hook on the outside of the last peg. This is the peg I want to start with. I want it on the outside of it. If you want to start in more, you would move it here if this was the peg you were going to start with. So again, I want to start right on the edge, so I'm going to start here. And I'm going to take, my working yarn. I'm going to hold a little bit of my straggler just to keep it from wiggling all over my crochet hook. I'm going to kind of hold it gently with my hand. And now I'm going to take and I'm going to put the working yarn behind the peg. I'm going to come in front and I'm going to grab my working yarn, twist it to bring it through that loop. Oops. And there's one. Then next you go behind the peg, then grab it with your crochet hook. Give it a little turn to bring it through your loop. Oops. Let me try that again. Alright. Come here, you little. Okay, it's usually not this difficult once you get the rhythm down, and you might be holding the loom a different way. So again, behind it, grab it in front, kind of twist it a little bit so that you can bring it through. Again, behind. Oops. Be careful you don't lose that. This might not be the right size crochet hook. I couldn't find the one I wanted to use. So again, we're going behind it, then we're bringing the yarn in front to grab it on our crochet hook, and then pulling it through our loop. Go to the next, and this is kind of what you're going to do, and it really is going to depend on which way you want to pull it through. Now, I'm doing this as a flat panel. I'm going to show you, this video is just about how to do it as a flat panel. You can do the same stitch or cast on in a round, and I'll do a separate video later to show you about that one, which I'll link it in this video. I'll be doing that probably in a couple days. Okay, so now we got, again, we're in front. We're twisting it to get it through the loop. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll probably do to 10, just because that's as many as I did on the other one. Okay, so we got it behind. We're going to grab it. We're going to pull it through. Now, as you can see, as you get working, it's a lot easier. Now, if you're doing this as a flat panel, and you got to the point where you're like, okay, I'm done, I don't want to do any more casting on, just take the loop that you have on your crochet hook and place it on the peg that you're done with. And you can push them down, and now you can go back and just do the stitch that you want to do. And as you can't quite see right now what it's doing, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work just the E-wrap, knit a few rows, and come back so that you can actually see how the scallop edge looks different than the other edge. And the other thing you will notice too, if you look really closely here, if I can get in here, is you'll see that it looks like there's two loops on a peg, even though there's not. So again, over here doing the E-wrap, we only look like we have one loop. But if you go over here, you can see that it looks a little different, and that's what you're aiming for on the scallop edge. So again, I'm just going to work an E-wrap knit down a ways to show you how it looks, and that's all I have to do is just wrap like I normally do, or you can do a flat knits, whatever you want to do from that on. And you're going to make sure you grab both what appears to be two loops and move them over, okay? Because pretty much this is going to be almost like our cast on edge. So I'm going to do that for a few rows, and then I'll come back and I'll show you it down a little further like I did with the E-wrap, so we can actually compare them. Okay, we worked a few rows. Now again, this is our E-wrap cast on. And again, I'm showing the underside. This is the side that people would see if you did it. This is our E-wrap cast on. And if you go over here, you can see our scallop cast on. It's a little different. It creates a little more of a design along the edge compared to the E-wrap. So I wanted to, let me see if I can zoom in a little better here. And so we get a little bit nicer of an edge with the scalloped cast on. And again, what I would recommend is probably doing a garter stitch right after it, just to kind of help it be flatter, and then it probably would make this look stand out a little more. Again, I just did the basic E-wrap knit above it, just so I could bring it down enough to show you. So again, let me see. We got the scalloped edge, it's a nice clean edge there. But again, if you look at the E-wrap, the normal E-wrap that I do for most of my projects, it's just the normal, nothing too fancy. But if you want to add, again, you just want to add a little bit of an element to your cast on, go ahead and try the scallop cast on. And I will do a separate video later that I will link later on in this video about how to do it in a round, because there's a little trick you have to do to connect when you go around to connect your ending and starting peg. But I'll show you that in a separate video. But again, this is just a scalloped cast on. I wanted to be able to show you the scalloped cast on versus a regular E-wrap cast on. So I hope you enjoy.